On today's show, the LA Clippers come up just short of advancing to the finals of the Summer League. What got them so close, and what should give Clipper fans hope about the young talent on this roster? Going to be talking about that and more on today's Locked On Summer League Clippers.
You are Locked On Clippers, your daily Los Angeles Clippers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, sir. You are locking in with the Clips. Thank you for making Locked On Clippers the first listen of your day, your team every day. I'm your host, Darian Vaziri, born and raised in LA, and entering my 20th season as a Clipper fan this fall. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DimeDropperPod and subscribe to my own YouTube channel, Dime Dropper, for even more LA Clipper, LA Sports, and NBA content. And Locked On Clippers is free and available wherever you get your podcasts, including YouTube, where I want you to let me know what you thought of the Summer League experience overall, your biggest takeaways, and what you thought of the game. I mean, it was so tight, so close. We lost at 99-98. But before we get into that, this episode is brought to you by FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Head over to FanDuel.com and start making the most out of your summer. Clipper Nation, we were so close. I thought this was a potential chance to get the Clippers a trophy, win something, win a championship of some sort. And honestly, if I'm being real, I would have rather had the Summer League championship than the in-season tournament. Because the in-season tournament, the Summer League, for me, there's real incentive behind it for these guys. Of course, the money is an incentive for the players, but in the grand scheme of the story of an NBA season, it's just not really a big deal, the in-season tournament. And to me, the champagne and the banner is very forced. I feel like if the Clippers won the in-season tournament, everyone would just clown us. It would have to be one of those things where we're just like, hey, man, haters going to hate, but let's celebrate something good for the team. But I don't know. The amount of memes if we won the in-season tournament before we won a ring would suck. I don't want a banner to go up and into a in-season tournament. The memes are going to be ridiculous. But the point is, so close to beating this Memphis Grizzlies team who has several NBA players on it, including Gigi Jackson, who averaged 14 points a game last year for Memphis, and then Scottie Pippen Jr., who had an insane game. And yes, I said that. Scottie Pippen Jr., Scottie Pippen's son, went to Vanderbilt, I don't remember if he was picked by the Lakers, but he was on the Lakers G League team, and then he went to Memphis. So he was undrafted. He was on the Lakers in 2022-23 and played a lot for the South Bay Lakers. Was playing for the South Bay Lakers as recently as last season. And then he went to the Memphis Grizzlies because he was waived on October 16th by the Lakers, 2023. So, he actually rejoined the South Bay Lakers later that year. And then he signed a two-way contract with the Grizzlies on January 16th, 2024. And I'll tell you, maybe he deserves a little shout as a third string on that Grizzlies team because, man, he was getting into the paint. He was knocking down threes. He didn't shoot super efficiently, but he was a problem. He really was. And, this game was tough. It ended with Kobe Brown missing a free throw that could have tied the game at 99 and sent it to overtime. It sucked to see Kobe Brown miss a free throw because he's kind of been our leader, our guy who has played with such composure. Of course, Jordan Miller, and I'll talk about him later in the episode, about him getting first team All-Summer League. But Jordan Miller's been our best player in the Summer League, but Kobe Brown to me has had a lot of the ball handling duties. He's come across as the guy that has the most composure and is the table setter in ways. It hasn't been one sole table setter, but you can just tell that Kobe feels more confident. Maybe not necessarily than Jordan Miller, but feels more confident than a lot of the guys out there, and he's so strong. And this was another game where he impressed me with his on-ball creation. As I said in the last game, maybe I spoke too soon when it comes to Kobe Brown and creating at the NBA level, because he's a little faster off the bounce than I realized, particularly going to his right. And his passing, as I've said since last season during the NBA season, he can pass. And you started to see that off a live dribble in pick-and-roll situations more in this Summer League. But my overall takeaway is, look, it was a bummer that we lost. We'll get into the details in a sec, but I'm proud of this team. I'm proud of this Clippers Summer League team. They had a defensive tenacity to them this entire time, led by one of the Clippers' assistant coaches and former NBA player Dante Jones, former Clipper Dante Jones, who was a defense-first guy. And you can see that translating to the way this Clipper team played, their emphasis on ball pressure, and then creating defense and offense. And Jordan Miller was just absolutely fantastic in the entire tournament, but also just in transition. You know, he has that Amir Coffey level of transition, lefty, long arms, get to the paint and make things happen. At least his arms look long. I don't have the wingspan stuff. And the other day, I maybe exaggerated Moussa Diabate's wingspan. But, man, I loved seeing Jordan Miller in transition. Anything with Jordan Miller going downhill was something to behold during this summer league, because the way he would absorb contact and go into the contact, and sometimes his slow to fast deceleration where he'd be hitting the jets and then he would take those 1-2 long steps, hit the contact, hit the defender, and then still finish. That was really impressive to see. And if the Clippers want to play a little bit faster, go a little younger in certain units, then Jordan Miller is worth giving a shot to. Now, the question for me is, what's the big difference between Jordan and Amir Coffey at this stage? I would love to see them compete in practice. Now, of course, we're not going to see that footage. You know, they don't release practice scrimmage footage and stuff like that. And they rarely these days go through 5-on-5 full speed, according to so many different NBA teams and coaches. But it's just easy to say that, you know, Jordan Miller probably deserves the spot over Amir Coffey just based on what we're seeing. But Amir, if you put him in the summer league, he'd probably look really, really good too. So it's all levels to this. But in this game in particular, we were down by 6 after the first quarter, 19-25. Completely outscored Memphis in quarter number 2, 35-24. And then in the third quarter, we were outscored 24-13, had a real lull offensively. And then in the fourth quarter, we outscored them 31-26. And the conclusion of the game was Kobe Brown at the line, missing the second of 2 free throws. We got off to a good start, though, or not a good start, but we got off to an optimistic start because Cam Christie had 9 points in the first quarter and he hit 2 threes. And I'll tell you, even when he's attacking closeouts, his pull-up, his shot mechanics, everything looks really, really good. Really, really good. And again, they had Max Christie on the broadcast for a bit, featuring in and talking. And it just feels as though he speaks about him the way that we all know Max Christie to be. So it just feels like he's a professional. Obviously he hasn't been a professional yet, but he acts professional. You can tell some guys just have that professional attitude and approach to things, even as college students. And Cam Christie, even though he only spent 1 year at Minnesota, he seems poised. He has his brother to mentor him, even though he's on a different team. He's got the guys around the Clippers to mentor him. You know, he's learning from Kawhi, from James Harden, Terrence Mann, you know, guys like Nico Batum. I think these guys are all going to be great for Cam. And I think his shooting ability, you know, really showed itself as the summer league went on. He got more comfortable with every game, and that's something that Max Christie acknowledged as well. Jordan Miller still able to make 3 balls as well in this game. He got hot from 3, 4 for 5 from deep in the game for Jay Mill, and he had a 4-point play at one point. The second quarter, as I said, that was the highlight for me in terms of performance. We went on an 11-0 run, and as we've seen throughout the Summer League, a lot of it starts with our defense creating offense, and you know who's in charge of that defense, and in my opinion, was the best defender throughout the Summer League for us, was Moussa. His ability to switch 1 through 5 gave us so much flexibility. It was able for him to snuff pick and rolls out and guard on the perimeter, and whether it be guarding one-on-one around the basket or guarding one-on-one on the perimeter, he was amazing. The thing about Moussa that I think is his weakness defensively is just that he's a 6'10 center that's not super strong, so guys will go into his body and it's not the most resistance. But man, he plays so hard. His second jump is fantastic. He's a hell of an athlete. He runs the floor super well. He does all the intangibles. It's actually just the skill to me that's lacking a little bit offensively. You saw some better moments with him handling the ball and making reads out of the short roll, some finishing improvements by a bit. But is he going to get those NBA minutes? I think there's a role for Moussa as a third string next season, but second string, I'm not super confident because his offensive game and his lack of size, that combination is going to be hard, to overlook. But man, that second quarter was good hoops. We had a 3-point barrage to end the half. And I think when it really turned, I can't lie to you, was the third quarter where former UCLA Bruin, and if I'm not mistaken, he went to Sierra Canyon. But I'm going to double check just so I want to be accurate. Yeah, he did go to Sierra Canyon. Amari Bailey, he was playing like a bot. He was not playing smart. taking bad shots, throwing the ball out of bounds. There was one time where he had no numbers and he was trying to go baseline. And it was like, I get it, drive and kick, but his pass was wayward. He was all over the place. Not saying anything about him as a player. It was just a rough outing. But it really turned momentum around and gave the Grizzlies some steals, and they got out and ran, had an 11-0 run. So as our offense slowed down, they were scoring in transition. And what really hurt us in this game too, and I think was when I knew we weren't going to win, was when Jordan Miller fouled out. You get 10 fouls in Summer League, but when it gets to the playoffs, it's regular. And Jordan Miller committed 6 fouls, and he was out with a couple of minutes left in the game. And, you know, we saw some Kobe Brown get the ball in the mid-post, make some plays. There was one rip-through where he shot like a running hook going to his right. That was insane. Moussa had a nice floater, by the way, as well. And when Cam Christie made that go-ahead three from the Kobe Brown kickout, I really thought we were going to win the game. I think at that point, we went up 96-95 or 97-96. It was 97-96. And then Scottie Pippen Jr. got an and one going into Moussa. So, again, another one of those instances where someone goes into Moussa's chest, got an and one. Credit to Scottie Pippen Jr. That was impressive, but we came up 1 point short. As far as the box score, I mean, we shot 49% from the field and 48% from three and 89.5% from the line. So we actually shot super well. Grizzlies didn't shoot badly at all either. 45% from the field for them, 50% from three, 82.6% from the line. They committed 14 turnovers, but the Clippers committed 19. And that's a difference maker. Moussa had 16 points, 6 rebounds, 2 steals, 2 turnovers on 7 for 10 shooting and 2 for 2 from the foul line. Thought he was very solid. Kobe Brown, 17 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, led our team, or tied for the assist lead on our team in the game. 6 for 7 from the field, insanely efficient. 1 for 1 from deep, 4 for 5 from the line. Cam Christie, probably his best game yet. 22 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, just 1 turnover on 7 for 13 shooting, 6 for 11 from 3, 2 for 2 from the foul line. Very solid performance in the Summer League overall as he got more comfortable by Cam Christie. And then Jordan Miller leading us in scoring yet again. 28 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, and a block. 2 turnovers, sadly did foul out, was 8 for 14 on the day, 4 for 5 from 3, 8 for 9 from the foul line. So one thing we saw is his 3-pointers improved tremendously, and his ability to get to the line was on full display throughout the whole tournament. And coming up, going to be talking about how much hope you should have as a Clipper fan after seeing this young core, because I'll tell you, it's more than I came in with. Going to be talking about that coming up. I got to tell you a little something about FanDuel. I love sports. I love them so much I never want them to stop. But as the playoffs wind down, we get fewer games. And the sports aren't sportsing like I want them to. But FanDuel lets me keep the sports going whenever I want. All I have to do is open the app and dream up bets anytime I'm in the mood. And right now, we have the lines for the Memphis Grizzlies Miami Heat Summer League Championship that the Clippers should be in. And the line right now is Memphis -3. Again, they have NBA players for real, so I would probably take Memphis. I would take Memphis by more than 3, to be honest. But yeah, if you want to go find it's not just basketball. You can bet on all these different sports on FanDuel. And this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or a bonus daily. That's right. There's something for everyone every day all summer long. So head over to FanDuel.com and start making the most out of your summer. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. All right, Clippers losing the Summer League semifinals to the Memphis Grizzlies by a score of 98-99 despite a 22-plus point performances, one by Cam Christie with 22 and the other by Jordan Miller with 28. Look, everyone knows that the Clippers' future isn't as bright as some other teams. We're a win-now team. We don't have many draft picks coming up, to say the least. This year, we might not own our pick, depending on what could happen. And for those that don't know, it basically, if we finish worse than Houston, we lose our pick. And our younger guys haven't really gotten much of a chance to show themselves because they haven't made a good enough case to the coaching staff that we deserve consistent minutes in an actual NBA rotation on a win-now team. Now, I want to emphasize how hard it is for young players to crack rotations of championship contending teams. Someone like Christian Brown, what kept him on the floor for the Denver Nuggets when they won the championship? His amazing on-ball defense and his ability to hit some threes. But that significantly declined in year 2, and he was part of the reason why the Denver Nuggets just didn't have the same depth. They expected him to take over when they lost Bruce Brown and contribute. So even him, he's going to be asked a lot of this year, Christian Brown. And I use him as an example because he's a guy that has cracked into a championship contending rotation and won a championship as a young player that was in the rotation. It's not normal. It's not very frequent. So, and most star players that are young, like Paolo Banchero and the likes, are starting out on teams that aren't in win-now situations. So they have to build from the ground up. The guys like Jordan Miller, the guys like Kobe Brown, Brandon Boston, Amir Coffey, not until really with Kawhi and Paul George, not until really this past season, since we traded all those guys in the Harden trade, got a consistent role. This was like his first season really getting consistent minutes, besides 2022, which was not a championship contending team. So this was the biggest role of Amir Coffey's career, and it took him a while to break into it. Jordan Miller, Kobe Brown, Brandon Boston, these guys, and even Bones Highland, if you want to add him into the mix, they've not given, and Moussa, they haven't given the coaching staff enough to say, you guys deserve consistent rotation minutes. And we gave Kobe Brown that opportunity in the season, and he just wasn't quite ready. And for me, it was his inconsistency shooting the three. I think moving laterally will be a challenge for him in the NBA, but I truly believe that he just needs to show that he can make threes consistently because I think his size and he is going to be very beneficial. And I think he's a better defender than some other guys on our team. Like, because he's a thinker of the game. Like, his rotations are sharp. He communicates pretty well. He seems to be in the right place at the right time. He's just an interesting build because he's like 6'6" and built like a tank. Like, he's got like a Brandon Bass kind of build, but he's a little bit shorter, more mobile, more of a guard, more guard skills. But he's not big enough to have those big skills in the NBA like Brandon Bass did. But I think there's a player in there. And I think after watching this summer league and seeing the Clippers' young core essentially get us deep, maybe we have more young talent than we think. Maybe Jordan Miller is an NBA player and a guy that can crack a rotation and be solid. Maybe the same for Kobe Brown and Cam Christie. This was overall, my point is that this summer league was such a positive for us. It shows that it's not all doom and gloom potentially. It is the summer league. But those 4 guys, they might have a future in the NBA. I think Moussa, because he's already further along the road, I'm a little more skeptical about him because he just needs a little more offense because he's an undersized 5. Kobe, Jordan Miller, and Cam Christie, I think they can get spots because really all you got to do is be a decent defender and be able to shoot threes in the NBA and you can stay in the league. I think the tougher part there is the defense. I think making threes and just practicing shooting the ball is like one of the easiest things to do as an NBA player. But here's the thing. As a basketball player, not even NBA, like I really legitimately think, because I don't know, I think doing things at high levels like dribbling against pressure or finishing through contact against elite competition is much, or, even against any grown adults, like obviously not for NBA players. I'm just saying it's relative. Like, a pull-up mid-range or a post-game, like all that to me is way harder. Maybe I'm just speaking from my personal lens of playing basketball my whole life. Shooting open threes, to me, is the easiest thing you can improve. Like, you can get someone to just, drive and kick. But here's the thing. Here's what people don't get. They think that just if you put in hard work, you can become a great shooter. That's not true. Some people just don't have it. Some people just can't be great shooters. They just can't from outside. But guys like Kobe Brown and Jordan Miller and Cam Christie, like guys that can clearly make the shot, but they're just not like 40% yet or something like that. Like, they can become great shooters from spot up. Like, they really can. I just think, to me, that's the easiest thing you can work on. To me. But that's just my opinion. Some people think some people might think, oh, I'm really good at finishing through contact. Shooting threes is what challenges me. For me, that's not the case. But yeah. My point is, if they can do that, they're gonna get a spot. They're going to get a spot. Because our three-point shooting last year, while it was top 5 in the league percentage-wise, it wasn't as strong as in previous years. I'm hoping Nico Batum can help out with that. But overall, my point is, we may have some hope, ladies and gentlemen. Kobe Brown is pretty solid. He showed some on-ball chops. Can he do it on the NBA level? Well, that remains to be seen. But it's enough for us to give him a chance. But anyways, Jordan Miller made the All-Summer League first team. Just how good was Jordan Miller in the Summer League? And should he take Amir Coffey's spot this upcoming season? Going to be talking about that when we return. I got to tell you a little something about eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit, only available to U.S. customers. All right, so we got some news to announce for the LA Clippers, and that is that the All-Summer League teams were announced. Sadly, the MVP was not a Clipper. It was Jalen Wilson of the Brooklyn Nets Summer League team. But Jordan Miller did make the All-Summer League first team. 2 members from the Grizzlies team that we lost to, Gigi Jackson and Scottie Pippen Jr., but that is just awesome. Congratulations to Jordan Miller. I did not expect him to be this good. And the improvements to his three-point shot, I think that's what stood out for me the most. I remember him having a semblance of an athletic player that could potentially get downhill, like an Amir Coffey type, literally. The lefty, solid wing, can attack closeouts, can finish through contact, good on the break. But he's better at getting to the line than Amir, and he might be a better three-point shooter. I don't know. Amir has those stretches where he'll shoot really well from three, but he still doesn't fully convince me. What I think is interesting about Jordan Miller is I thought he brought the no-dip three into his game a couple of games ago, and I said that on one of the shows because he shot one of those no-dip threes that Nico Batum is so great at. But I think he just doesn't have much dip on his shot, period. Or that's something that he's learned to do, because I was watching his three-point attempts in the last game, and it was like he wasn't dipping much at all on his shot. So that could be huge. I mean, imagine if you can shoot a good percentage shooting like that. I mean, it's hard for a defense to get a real contestant when you're shooting with that quick of a release time. Happy for Jordan Miller, though, man. Absolutely happy for him. And again, I'm not gonna sit here and say he deserves the spot over Amir Coffey. So no, that's not something I can say. I think it's up for the coaching staff to let them duke it out. Like, there's no reason why Amir Coffey, as much as I love the guy, should have that spot on lock. He definitely shouldn't have that spot on lock when Jordan Miller might be as good. I mean, who knows? And I want to just pull up Jordan Miller's Summer League stats. In 5 Summer League games, he averaged 25.4 points. 25 points! In 10-minute quarters. 4.2 rebounds, 2.6 assists, and 2.2 combined steals plus blocks or stocks during 28.2 minutes per game in 5 games. I mean, come on. That's pretty elite. That's pretty elite. And he did it in ways where I was like, damn, Jordan Miller has 25 points. Like, he found ways to score. And that's big time. Just finding those loose balls or, just being in that right place, right time, because you are running the floor hard or you are cutting when the defense is loading up on someone else. Stuff like that. So it's great to see. And as I said, Kobe Brown showed a lot of great things as well. But moral of the story, be proud of the team. We might have more hope for the future than we thought. And Jordan Miller is going to give Amir Coffey a run for his money. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DimeDropperPod. Subscribe to my own YouTube channel, Dime Dropper, for even more LA Clipper, LA Sports, and NBA content. And Locked On Clippers is free and available wherever you get your podcasts, including YouTube. Let me know what you thought of the Summer League. Let me know what you thought of our young guys. And, I don't know, keep suggesting episode ideas. Why not? And remember, you can always listen on Apple Podcasts and Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts if you can't sit down and watch on YouTube. We highly encourage you to listen wherever you may be, on whatever platform. The age-old proverb continues, Go Clippers.